Thank you, Abby. Thank you, Melody. Good morning, all. I'm Reverend Hannah Capaldi. My pronouns are she and her, and I am the Minister for Faith Formation here at First Unitarian Church of Philadelphia. It's good to see so many of you today. A little note that we will be leaving the chat on during the sermon this week. I have been hungry to feel connection when I've been preaching recently, so if you feel so moved, participate. But if it is distracting, exit out. So I mentioned that I'm the Minister for Faith Formation. I'm usually the one giving the spiel during one of our offerings for newcomers. During UU&U, I'm all gassed up, full of vigorous endorsement about this beautiful and loving and progressive faith of ours. And this is real, this love and passion for our living tradition. It is as real as it has ever been, made more real and more true each day. But, beloveds, I'm having a crisis of faith. It happens sometimes. It happens to all of us sometimes. So to take the edge off the loneliness that comes with a season like this, I share it with you. During that spiel, the one I give for folks new to this faith, I talk about us as a people of optimism. The roots of our theology tell us this: we are not doomed to hell, we are born for good things. We contain sparks of the divine, no more or less a child of God than Jesus himself. We make heaven real, here and now, in this lifetime. We are a people of optimism. We are a people who believe deeply in our bones about the capacity for human goodness. The first principle tells us this: we uphold the inherent worth and dignity of every person. So in this season, why do I fight like hell to believe that? Why does it take so much energy to convince myself that this is true? I feel that I am confronted each day, each hour, each minute with examples of callousness and ignorance that defy tidy understanding and challenge my faith. I have to dig that well of compassion deeper each day, and let me tell you, that shovel is getting mighty heavy. We are a people of optimism. That famous quotation that folks like to put on their bumper stickers, that the moral arc of the universe bends towards justice, that was written by Theodore Parker, arguably one of the most important Unitarian theologians of the 19th century. I'm not really feeling that bend towards justice these days. I'm more distracted by the bend towards fascism. Forgiveness goes hand in hand with optimism. Forgiveness is the human shape taken by redemption. By extending forgiveness, we think we are being hopeful and nice, that we are offering a path forward, a clean slate, a chance to improve. It will get better. Progress will be made, so we forgive. Much has been written about forgiveness. Much has been written theologically, psychologically, even biologically about the importance on the mind and the body and the soul of forgiveness. The Archbishop Desmond Tutu, a man of infinite wisdom, wrote, "If you can find it in your heart to forgive, you are no longer chained to your perpetrator." I'm not here to say that forgiveness is wrong, only that there is power in not forgiving too. There are countless poems and stories and books about the power of forgiveness, but sometimes we are so bombarded with the message that we must forgive, that our faith calls us to see the goodness in each person, to cling to optimism and a promise of an arc towards justice, that we lose the stomach for the truth of terrible things. Forgiveness becomes routine. It becomes the dance you do to move past conflict, to get to the other side of the hurt and the mess, and back to business. Sorry, they said. It's fine, you said. We teach our kids how to say sorry, and then we teach our kids how to accept an apology. First one and then the other. It is a compulsion, not an intention. An avoidance tactic used by the wrongdoer to assuage guilt and used by the wrongs to smooth things over. Reverend Nancy MacDonald Ladd writes of Unitarian Universalists, we lopside our spirits to the point that they feel poisoned by the presence of tragedy. We gorge ourselves on this notion of fundamental human goodness without taking a bite of fundamental human inequity. I think sometimes we eat up this goodness past the point of being full because it's cozy. It's a fairly simple way to combat cynicism, to reignite the fire of hope, to just keep on believing that we're all good and we all act good and it's all going to be all right and it's all going to be good. And when faced with fundamental human inequity, we as people of rational thought, as people of intellectual discourse and heady roundtable debate, we say, it's more complicated than that. It's more nuanced. Life is lived in the gray area where it's not so clear. When our country is so polarized, it's important to understand both sides, to turn the other cheek, to forgive. I myself have preached sermons to you to just that effect. But how convenient to name that it is all so intricate, so complicated that we would be naive to put a stake in the ground around what's wrong and what is right, what is unforgivable. Economics of this country are a great example. Don't let someone tell you it's more complicated than this. There is more than enough to go around. It's not more complicated. It's not more nuanced. There is fundamental inequity, and it's unforgivable. I have a niece who's almost 3. This summer, while sorting through her grandfather's oversized collection of miniature screwdrivers and pliers, that's a sermon for another day, I asked her, Sienna, which one is a screwdriver? And she passed over the screwdriver. We start them young in the Capaldi family. Sienna, can you hand me the green one? And she hands over the green one. Sienna, which one is bigger? Holding up 2 sets of pliers, the blue one or the red one? Blue, she said. I mean, I guess you could see the blue one as being bigger from your perspective. I see the red one as bigger, I said. And then I caught myself. So twisted had I become in wanting to be positive, in wanting to encourage my niece's ideas and her imagination, to not say the hard thing of you're wrong, that I rejected an objective truth. The red was bigger. Sometimes this is what we do. As people of optimism, as people willing to search long and hard for the goodness and the will to forgive, we twist ourselves away from truth and towards a warped moral compass that leads us nowhere good fast. Rick Maston, the UU minister and poet, wrote, I ain't waving, babe, I'm drowning. Going down in a lonely, cold sea, I ain't waving, babe, I'm drowning, so babe, quit waving at me. This ain't singing, babe, it's screaming. I'm screaming that I'm gonna drown, and you're smiling, babe, and you're waving, just like you don't hear a sound. Going down in a lonely sea, I ain't waving, babe, I'm drowning, so quit waving at me. Oriented towards optimism and avoiding the messiness that comes with conflict, that comes with naming some things right and some things wrong, we lose the ability to see, to feel, to connect with the pain and the horror that is life for too many. There is justice to be found in calling things unforgivable. There is justice in naming plainly and without compromise that evil exists. It validates the life lived by many who don't come to this church, who don't see their experiences reflected in the songs we sing, in the drumbeat of progress we bang all day long. This ain't singing, babe. It's screaming. Last year, when Pauline Bynum was being held at an ICE facility in Georgia, she was 29. Experiencing irregular periods, the staff OBGYN performed a procedure to remove overgrown tissue from her uterus. When she woke up from the surgery, the doctor informed her that they had removed one of her fallopian tubes, making her unable to bear children. This ain't singing, babe. It's screaming. This isn't medical care, my beloveds. This is eugenics. In New York, voter registration must be received at least 25 days in advance of the election. According to the ACLU, in the 2016 presidential election, 90,000 New Yorkers were unable to vote because their applications weren't received by the cutoff date. This ain't waving, babe, it's drowning. This isn't bureaucracy, my beloveds. This is voter suppression. In California, incarcerated people fight wildfires, risking their lives and their lungs to save homes and mementos and entire family histories. They're paid nothing. And when they are released, fire departments won't hire folks with criminal records. This isn't justice, my beloveds. It's cruelty. I'm willing to say it, and I'm inviting you to try it. It's unforgivable to strip someone of bodily autonomy, to deprive someone their right to vote, to farm someone's life out to save your own. It's not that complicated. There isn't good to be found. Don't look for it. Don't strain your eyes to see it. Put down the shovel that digs the well of compassion. People are dying. People are drowning. And it is our faithful duty as religious people of principle to name it and to hold the line, to resist warping the compass and the cozy allure of forgiveness. The Christian ethicist Dietrich Bonhoeffer, the one who was implicated in the plan to assassinate Hitler, the one who died in a concentration camp for speaking out against Nazis, that Dietrich Bonhoeffer wrote, "Nothing can be more cruel than the leniency which abandons others to their sin. Nothing can be more compassionate than the severe reprimand which calls another Christian in one's community back from the path of sin. Nothing can be more cruel than the leniency which abandons others to their sin. Nothing can be more compassionate than the severe reprimand which calls another in our community back from the path. Forgiveness to me can look like abandoning others to their sin. It can look like here's hoping they don't do it again and not wanting to stay any longer in that pit of disappointment and betrayal. Name the action as unforgivable and call your kin back to right relation. Call them back with severe reprimand and an eye towards restoration. We are called to severe reprimand, my friends. These are the days of unforgivable things. Feel them, see them, hear them, name them. For there is justice here in the hard place when we want to find the good. There is justice here in the bottom of the well, with our voices hoarse from shouting down the agendas of hate all around. There is justice in rejecting the apology that might let things go back to normal. There is justice in pushing away another serving of optimism for a meal that feeds us all, not just the few. So I've shared with you the crisis of my faith. And I'm not afraid that I won't come out the other side. I've been here before. It's a season. And it will pass. And in the meantime, I'll search for the truths that reveal themselves to me when I'm hard up. They tend to come fast and furious when I'm most uncomfortable. But my season of discomfort will pass. Not so the nightmare of living in this country as a woman detained by ICE. As a young voter in New York, working 3 minimum wage jobs and no time to drop the ballot off in the mail. As a firefighter who takes off their helmet and his tank and gets locked up at night. Remember this, my friends, and may we have the courage to call our country to severe reprimand. May we see the thrashing arms for what they are, drowning, not waving. May we abandon no one to injustice or wrongdoing. And may our moral compass stay the course. May it be so. Amen.
Hi, I'm Reverend Hannah Capaldi.
And I'm Reverend Abby Tennis. We are the ministers at the First Unitarian Church of Philadelphia, where our mission is to awaken love and justice in our lives and in the world.
We're so grateful that you watched, and we hope that the sermon connected with your soul.
We also want to invite you to join us for a live worship service every Sunday at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. You can always find the link to that service on our website at www.philauu.org. In these services, you'll hear words like you've just heard, and you also get a chance to greet one another, pray together, sing together, and we even hold a virtual coffee hour after services to get a chance to greet some new and old friends.
If you want to support the mission of this community and you feel moved to give, you can do so by going to the website that Reverend Abby just mentioned. You can find that link below, or you can text 215-709-5095 and follow the prompts to give.
If someone in your life needs to hear these words today, we encourage you to share this video. And again, thank you so much for watching.
We hope to see you soon.